So thanks very much for coming in. And first of all, if I could ask you to explain a little bit about the work that you do.
Well, I'm a physiotherapist and I'm trained specifically to work with children with cerebral palsy. And I'm currently working, my day job is at Carlson School, and I work there 2.5 days a week. And I've also got this other voluntary work that I do elsewhere.
But you do this voluntary work, which is what we're going to be talking about, in your holidays, in your annual leave. So can you tell us about that and the work you do with the children in developing countries?
What I do is go away for between 1 and 4 weeks over to a country, either India or one of the islands. And I've linked up with organisations within those countries and just work alongside them. The main thing being training the people within the organisations on how to work with children with cerebral palsy. So that's part of it, and as well as being hands-on and doing assessments, and that's a way of teaching when you're doing it with somebody beside you, doing assessments, setting up programs, teaching family about how to work with their children with cerebral palsy. And the other side of it is sending equipment, used equipment from here, such as wheelchairs and standing frames and walkers, shipping it to the islands is the other side of it, yeah.
So how did it all start?
Well, it goes back a long way, because from when I was little, I've always been wanting to do something with the people out there, you know, in the developing nations. My family have always had a strong interest in missions. And so I got to thinking when my youngest was just little, what can I do? How can I be involved? And started praying about it and realised that it was right in front of me, that, you know, I've got my skills. I sent some emails overseas to some physios, a lady in Cambodia actually, and she suggested getting the knowledge of how to work with kids with cerebral palsy. So that's why when my little fella turned 5, a job came up at Carlson School, and so I've been there 7.5 years now, and so I've got the skills that have come from working there.
So can you describe to me the transition from ineffective being a mum at home and then doing something quite radically different and major? I imagine that's, because a lot of us daydream and think about those things, but to actually do it.
Yeah, well, I think you've got to have a dream. I'm just an ordinary person, but I think you've got to have a big faith in God also to realise that it's not actually all just within you. It's in God's resources that he places in you, and that he supplies from the outside also. So it's that sort of having that level of confident dependence in God, really.
Can you tell me a bit about actually on the field? I know that there's a lovely story about in India, a boy that you've been working with, and can you describe that story to us?
It's a little boy called Elisha, and his mother's a Christian lady, poor as, extremely poor. They live together in a one room, which is smaller than what our single rooms would be, and this wooden bed takes half the space. She does a bit of cleaning for the organisation where they've got the room attached to. And Elisha he's got cerebral palsy. He can do nothing. He's skinny as, it's a wonder he's still alive really, but it's because his mother loves him so much, I think, you know, that she's looked after him so well. And he's got this bright mind. He can't say anything, he can't do anything, his arms and legs are everywhere, but he's got this bright mind, he's got great understanding. So when I first saw him, he was just lying on the floor all day. Mum was doing, as I say, a lovely job feeding him, keeping him clean.
So that's all he'd do, lie on the floor.
And that's typical. Yeah. That's typical anywhere, Indians throughout the islands, that's what happens to kids. They just lie on the floor. I mean, if they can sit, they'll probably sit, but if they can't sit, they'll just lie. And they can be very alert, you know, and teachable minds. So we showed Mum a few exercises to do to keep him loose, and talked a bit about positioning so that he didn't get contractures, you know, he didn't get stuck in certain positions. We made a wheelchair out of wood for him, so he could be moved around the community. We'd made some special seating to support him so that he was upright. I guess when it comes to a child lying on the floor, it's number one is get them off the floor, because they can't be part of the family just lying on the floor. So let's build a basic chair, and then you've got to decide how much support to give the child.
How does that impact the parents and the wider family when they see this happening to the child?
Well, hugely. Someone's doing something for their child, and you know, the potential of that child is starting to be realised just quite quickly. And so, of course, as a mother, they'd absolutely love that. That's wonderful. So, yeah.
How many children would you have worked with?
Goodness, I mean, India's just overwhelming, the number of children with cerebral palsy that nothing's happening with. So when I've been there, 2 years ago we saw 250 children. I was there with 2 other physios. We saw 250 children in about 2 weeks. And I've been 10 times, so, kind of multiply it out a little bit. And then there's the children in the islands. There are fewer children there than in India with cerebral palsy, but the needs are actually quite similar.
So not only are you working directly with the child, but you're heavily involved with teaching the teachers.
Well, in India, the organisation I work with works with people with disability in that region. And so when we go, we work alongside their physios and their community-based rehab workers. They come and work alongside us so that we're showing them basically how to assess these children. And that's similar in Samoa. I work with an early intervention team, and a lot of that's about teaching. We go out and we teach about assessment, cerebral palsy, and how to think about how to deal with different problems that might arise.
Great. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.